Hello, good afternoon. It's the Everton Daily Live. The day of the Southampton game. Massive game in Everton's history. It's not. Everton, Carabao Cup, third round, Southampton at Goodison Park. Jack, are you confident?
Confidence isn't the word I'd use now. I think we will win, but I just can't use the word confidence in regard to Everton at the moment. There's just like a block on it. Like, you ever played one of them games where, like, you're walking around and you're exploring, it's like you haven't unlocked this area yet, and you're, like, walking into the invisible wall. That's me with confidence for Everton. Even if you know that's where you need to be eventually, you can't get there at the moment. But, no, I think we will win because, obviously, Southampton are the only team that can rival us for such a poor start this season, and they've been open about, potentially making some changes themselves.
Is it the shit derby? Well. That's kind of what it's classed as?
Yeah, it's like... It's the losers contest, isn't it? It's both teams need to win.
Derby.
Yeah, but I think for Southampton, they'll be looking ahead to the weekend a little bit more than us, because obviously they've got Ipswich, haven't they? And that's, as much as Leicester's a really big game for us as well, I just think Ipswich is the one, isn't it? Because they're one of the promoted sides as well, and Southampton will be looking for that. I think their squad depth compared to ours, although, we're not blessed with squad depth, obviously, we've got players who we can bring in that are arguably just as good, but we've just not seen them yet, like O'Brien, like Lindstrom, who probably should be in the team, but we haven't seen them yet, and hopefully they'll get their chance tonight. So it could end up being a heavily changed Everton team, but not necessarily a weakened one.
Okay. Who's going to play right back? He's not going to, even if Seamus was training, he's not going to risk Seamus Coleman.
No, it's going to be Ashley Young, innit? It should be...
Michaelenko will be fit?
Oh, yeah, that's the obvious one as well. Well, it depends on his illness, doesn't it?
This is the problem, isn't it? We don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're sick on Saturday, you'd expect to be fit by Tuesday, but depends what his illness is. If it's a few days and he hasn't been able to train, then doing himself no favours playing in this game, are you?
No, I think... Well, the obvious choice would be to go Roman Dixon, wouldn't it? And put Ashley Young at left back.
That's the obvious choice.
That's the obvious choice. It's the one that makes sense. I think it's the one the fans would respond to the best as well, because obviously we want to see Dixon in the team. And, there was talk for him to play against Aston Villa, and me personally, I'd like to see him in the team, but it's, only really playing the kid in difficult circumstances away from home. Top quality clubs like Spurs and Villa who have that attacking talent against Southampton. It's a bit more level playing field. We're at home as well. They're not going to have a massive away following, so it's going to be nowhere near as harsh an environment. I think it's the perfect type of game to play Dixon in.
It's mad though, isn't it? Because I thought he would have played against Doncaster and he didn't. He played Seamus Coleman instead. So I don't know if he'll play Dixon. Might be needs be rather that he plays him tonight, and obviously Jake O'Brien will start, or should do. Maybe he'll be at the expense of Takeover because he rested them against Doncaster, didn't he? I think.
Yeah,
he's not fit. You can tell he's not fully fit. I think the goalkeeper will stay in.
Yeah, I mean, there was stories yesterday, weren't there, about, he'll drop him and that, and I just think there's absolutely nothing in that. And I know we've brought back Begovic, but he's obviously a number 2 Begovic, isn't he? Been brought back because they know him. They like having him round. Pickford's the number 1, and he's only not playing in case of injury or in the FA Cup if we draw a really weak team.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no chance he's dropping Pickford. And, he's not started the season great, but he's your goalkeeper. And you don't have a number 2 who's anywhere close to his level. So I think he'll start tonight. He played against Doncaster. Now playing against better opposition. I don't think it makes sense to change your keeper now. If we'd went into the cup campaign with the idea of, okay, Pickford's not playing in these games, we're going to rest him, we're going to play, I think it would have been Virginia at the time against Doncaster, wouldn't it? But then Begovic comes in for the second round, but we've not went down that road, so Pickford stays in.
Midfield, what are you doing? Mangala starting?
Yeah, I think...
Got he, wasn't he?
Yeah.
When else is he going to get minutes?
Yeah, I think more importantly as well, Eric Burnham's played too much football so far this season. Really, yeah, just not because he's been poor, just to rest him up because he'll play at the weekends, won't he? And then Garner Gay, obviously, he's probably the fittest player in the squad, but you've got to consider his age, haven't you? And I think it makes sense. Sharp, go Garner and Mangala in the middle.
James Garner,
yeah,
and Mangala, McNeil still in the 10. Try and build on the confidence.
Yeah. I mean, it depends. It depends if he goes Lindstrom there, but then your wingers.
He's not put him there, though.
Yeah.
The game.
But then you don't have the option to really rotate your wingers then either, because McNeil, Harrison, or NJ, 2 of them 3 are going to have to play, aren't they? So, yeah, I think probably McNeil in the 10, Lindstrom on the right, and then you've got your pick of.
It'll be NJ on the left.
Yeah. But you've got your pick of him and Harrison at least, haven't you?
I think Harrison will stay. I think Lindstrom will be sub.
Really? Yeah. Do you not think he'll play?
I mean, I'll play him, but I don't know whether he likes making this many changes. Mind you, though, we're at home, aren't we? If you're not going to start him in this game, then he's never really going to get me. I mean, he brought him on Saturday, which was a bit of a mad one, I thought, because there's been no sign that he's been going to come on in other. You know what I mean? It was all.
Yeah. He came on against Spurs, didn't he? But
yeah, but it was game over, wasn't it? It's all a bit mad. And then who you going up front? So you sticking with Dom and going, well, you've got 2 and 2, or do you give Beto a shout?
Well, me and Sped?
What?
And me and Ped was speaking about this on the preview, and I'd personally worry about starting Dom just because of, there's the injury worry. Obviously, he's been fit for a while now, but you just don't know if it could ever catch up to him. But it's one of them. There's a good argument for both, isn't there? I think I'd like to see Dom in there, but I'd just worry. But he would give us a lot more than Beto gives us, unfortunately.
Okay. What
would you go with?
I'd probably leave Dom in, simply because he's got 2 and 2. But then again, the argument for that is, if anything happens to Dom, or he say he got a red card, and whatever, if he just misses a couple of games, and Beto was literally had 10 minutes here and 15 minutes there, you're not up to speed, are you? And if you can't give the lad a Carabao Cup third round tie at home against a team who will be much changed from their normal starting 11, then you really are saying you're not up to it.
But where does Beto rank in our hierarchy once everyone's fit? Once Chimitti's back,
but at the moment he's the second striker.
No, I know, but it's if he was actually our second striker, if he was second out of the 4 we've got, then yeah, you would have to say he has to play tonight. But
so who's above him?
I think Chimitty is above him.
But he's not, because he's injured.
No, but I mean, once everyone's available.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Your managers have to deal in reality.
No, of course.
They have to deal with what's in front of them. The reality.
But it's easier to make that change if he's your second choice, regardless of who's available. If he's your 4th choice out of the 4, once they're all available.
But the other
where
2,
you're viewing them is
the other 2 have got to get above him, though, haven't they? The other 2, like Breuer's got to get fit first and foremost. But we know he's here for the season. So therefore, like you said, I think you said the other day, you look at him as almost like around Christmas time, like that January window, but he's here a bit earlier. Chimitty, loads of promise. I think long term, Chimitty could well be Everton's number 9, or Everton, or a real challenge for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I think he does. He will go past Beto, just because I think he's more refined. His touch is better. He's got good movement, and just his age, will catch up. But right now, I think Beto's still a number 2, because even just on goals, Chimitty's not scored a goal for Everton. And
no,
Beto,
he's played
5. Oh, I know, but I'm saying, if you're a manager, you have to deal in reality. And Sean Dyche definitely just deals with the realities, doesn't he? And the reality right now is Beto's the number 2 striker. So if I'm Beto, and Everton have got a home game in the Carabao Cup, and I know you're not really going to gamble with me in the league, this is the game that I'm expecting to play in.
Yeah.
And if you don't play me, that's a massive slap in the face. I'm saying I'd probably start Dom, but I'm saying if you actually step back and go, what is this for? Do Everton feel like they can? Do you think Everton can win the Carabao Cup? when Man City and Liverpool... And
realistically, we're not winning it.
Right, so we've got a home game against a team who is also a bit crap so far this season, and they're going to make changes. Their manager said they're going to make 6 or 7 changes at least. So he's trying to give his squad a game. So really, should that not be the time when you play your second striker and go ahead, this is going to get you minutes in your legs in case we need you to score a goal. You know, in case we need you because our first choice is injured or suspended. Or
the funny thing is, here we've switched sides almost, because I said you'd probably go with Beto and you've said Tom, and now we're arguing the other side of it. But the only
there is a for and against for it, isn't it? That's why.
The caveat there is this is a game that we really could do with winning, because we need that win under our belts, because we need to get over the hump of the weekends now, don't we? And get ourselves back on track, and maybe it makes sense to go with your best player. But you're right, at the moment, Beto is obviously the number 2 because we don't have anyone else available. But I do think once Chimiti's back, I think he goes right back above Beto in the hierarchy. I think
possibly
the back end of last season.
No, it did. He was preferring Chimiti to Beto, wasn't he?
And you could argue maybe that's because the season was already...
And Beto did miss Brentford with a head injury, don't forget. He was out, wasn't he? He missed the derby and thingy, didn't he, with the head injury. So Chimiti, that's why Chimiti started. But then he did bring Chimiti on in a couple of games before Beto, didn't he? So it did look like he trusted Chimiti a little bit more than he trusted Beto. Like we said, there's an argument for both, isn't there? There's an argument to say Dom's scoring 2 in his last 2, leave him in. He'll get a couple against these, then take him off. You know, and then he's feeling good. He's carried that goal scoring run together. That's what we want. Or do you go, no, actually, like you said, Dom, we want to make sure you're fully fit for Saturday. That's a big game for us. We'll give you the last 25 minutes, whatever. But Beto will do the first sort of hour or so and see where we are with it.
Well, Dom's coming off around the hour anyway, isn't he? Even if he does start.
Yeah, if he starts, he's doing 60, 65, isn't he? So it's, what do you do? When's he more likely to score? The last half an hour when they're tiring? Or the first hour when he starts? It is. You can argue for and against it, can't you? That's the thing. And you can with the likes of Roman Dixon, can't you? Going, do we go ultra safe and put James Garner at right back? Or, if Miko's fit, then Ashley Young must start at right back. And do we risk Takeover? You know what I mean? You can almost talk yourself out of all of these changes to go, well, the team needs some momentum. The team needs to win a game. But beating second string Southampton tonight, does that really give Everton any momentum? Really?
It's not even necessarily what would get from winning, it's what would avoid by not losing. Because I think people are expecting to win this game, whether we should or whether we shouldn't.
In the comments, we'll get battered tonight. Will he'll set us up completely wrong again? Will he be sacked when we lose tonight?
Well, let me rephrase that.
More hope than anything else tonight.
Let me rephrase then. I think people think we should be winning tonight, and that if we don't, it's a bad situation. And I just think
plays, Everton lose, simples.
I just think if we get
not
beat
a lot of
again
people are sharing your
home,
view, Jack.
No, but I'm not saying like, oh no, like we're so much better than these. Like we should be winning. It's no, we need to win, and therefore we should be winning. And I just think it could be a bit nasty for the manager if we get beat again this time at home.
Yeah, well, someone's asked the question. I'm not prepared to answer it. Someone's asked the question. If Everton lose tonight, will he be sacked?
No.
Okay, there you go.
But the fans will make their voices heard, and rightly so, if we are beat tonight.
I don't think we'll lose tonight. I think Everton will win tonight. John Van says Dixon should have come on when Mikel came off of Villa. Yeah, well, Ped said that yesterday. Why not? Why not have had him ready? I mean, the conversation, like we said on the final word, the conversation surely at 5:20 to the subs should have been, you need to be ready because we don't know how long Michalenko's going to last because he's not well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And yet, when Garner stood up, it looked like it was the first he'd heard of it.
Yeah, and he looked unnatural in right back. And I know it's not his natural position, but he's played there. He's won a trophy playing there. Albeit at under 21s level.
Against Spain as well.
Yeah. And he played a few games for us there. It's not his position, don't get me wrong, but he has more experience there than you would have thought by watching him at the weekends. And he just, even like when he was coming on, like his body language, he looked unsure. It just looked like that conversation hadn't happened at all.
Yeah. weird.
Which should be happening regardless,
I mean,
really.
it might have been. It just looked like it, didn't it?
No.
And this is what happens when things are going badly. And there's no momentum. And 5 wins in 9 months tells you there's zero momentum. You look at everything and things that probably aren't even there. People start to question and go, well, what about that? And what about that? And that doesn't look right. And what about the way he looked at him? And did you see the way he was arguing with him? And you know what I mean? You're looking for things because you're scratching your head as to why we make these decisions. Graham Hedworth, who doesn't sound like an Everton fan, I'm not having a go, Graham. I'm looking at it because this seems like a more objective view. Says you will go down playing 8 at the back, Dyche football. You have to get a new manager before the February point scramble. Yeah, I mean, a lot of fans of other clubs are saying, how the hell can he still be your manager? And what do you say?
Standards. But I've seen a lot, to be honest, the fans of other clubs are seeing the fans of other teams talking about Michael Keane. At the weekend as well, saying I don't really watch his and that, but every time I do, if that Keane's in the team, it just seem to concede a bucket load of goals.
Well, on Sunday when I went to our kids' footy, like one of the other coaches was red, and he was just like, I watched it. I don't really think, but it was, I had it on when I got home from a match, and he was like, that Michael Keane looks absolutely petrified every time I see him. And it was like Andy Townsend actually said this on a radio station that talks about sport, and so did Simon Jordan. Now, whether you take any stock of them, that's fair, but they were like, it's just, he just looks frightened when he plays.
I mean, they're saying things we're saying, aren't they, but from a neutral view, so even if you don't agree with the majority of what they say, they're agreeing with us, almost, aren't they?
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? It's mad. Prince of Almar, who is a YouTube member, says 65 minutes, you lot mad. Last time Dyche changed anything at half time. I don't know what. Listen, I don't know what. No, when I said he deals in reality, that's what he says, doesn't he? He says, I deal in reality. So that's what he'll say. He'll be looking at that and saying Beto is the second choice because he's fit. Timothy's not fit, and Breuer won't be fit for another 6 weeks or something at the least. So we see where we go with that. Let's have a look. Here we go. Gary Ward says, howdy, what else would you expect him to say? Professor Poopy Pants says, bringing my 12-year-old daughter to her first game tonight, sitting in the upper Bullens by the halfway line. By me, mate. We've got a 5-hour round trip, so we hope it's a good game. And the Wendy's before the game isn't the highlight of the day. Kev Rex says, what are the chances of Freakin and Texter teaming up and buying Everton? I'd say 0.
Yeah.
The Freakin group, as I've said all along, many times on this, that they're still there, they haven't gone away. They done it with Roma. They said they pulled out, and then 2 months later they bought it. Doesn't mean they'll buy this. They're just still in the fight. So yeah, I think that them reports last night, I think, were a little bit just dragging up old news. They've gone nowhere.
What is, though, for, I don't expect you to know the specifics, but what makes this deal better now for Friedkin than it was a few months ago? At the point when he said no for now?
I don't think it is any better or any worse than it was a few months ago. I think John Texter's here and is moving forward with his bid. So
it's just potentially making him reconsider.
It's losing. Well, it's losing. The way I looked at it with Friedkin, he was trying to get, and this is what I've been told, he was trying to get ACAP to take a hit on the 200 million that they say they're owed by Everton. And they are. Sort of, Everton have had the 200 million, right? But because of the Leadenhall case, there's a school of thought that says Everton or whoever it is won't have to pay 200. Sorry. There's a possibility they don't have to pay the 200 million back. It might be like 100 million or whatever, or it could be nothing. That's one possibility. The other possibility is they do absolutely have to pay the 200 million back. And there's a third one, which means they can meet in the middle somewhere. And I think the Freakin group were looking, thinking, we ain't paying 200 million to someone if we don't have to pay it.
Yeah.
Okay? And ACAP wouldn't accept that. Kenneth King at ACAP wouldn't accept that. And was like, no, you owe us 200 million. And obviously, they've also a run and Roma. And so at some stage, they're thinking, this is quite expensive right now to do 2 clubs. And do we really want to? Because whether they're billionaires or not, to them, they don't want to give someone £100 million if they don't need to.
No, I mean, there's a reason why they're billionaires. Exactly. And it's because they're not losing 100 million when they don't need to.
You wouldn't want to give someone £100 if you didn't have to, would you? At levels, same with me. You wouldn't want to do it, would you? Ned wouldn't want to give someone 10 pence if he didn't have to. Do you know what I mean? So it's all levels. So therefore, they've already invested in the club, don't forget, i.e. they took over the MSP thing, and they give the club 50 million for the day-to-day running and to finish the stadium, which is being done. And I know there's some money over for the stadium, but that's for fitting out on the inside, I believe. Anyway, that's by the by. So they've basically gone, well, we've got 200 million invested in this, and we are at all the talks, of course. We've got an insight with everything that's going on, because we've still got skin in the game.
Yeah,
and at any time we can say, actually, we're buying it. So they've not gone anywhere. So all that happened, if you remember, they just said they weren't proceeding with buying the club at that time. So they're still there, and they've not gone anywhere. So all this is just churning up old news that they're there going, yeah, we want it.
Yeah. They're
still not happy with the ACAP stuff. John Textor's sort of gone, well, I'm buying it, and we'll deal with ACAP when it comes to it. But I want it. And now maybe, because he's moving forward, and it is moving forward, that they've sort of gone, oh, we might actually lose this football club when we didn't think we were going to. So now it'll come down to who's got the better bid.
So in Friedkin's mind, essentially, they wanted to sit back and maybe wait for a resolution with the 200 million and have a better understanding of where they stood with it. Yeah, and that because they want to explore, like you say, even if they do end up buying the club and paying it in the end, obviously 100 million, if you don't need to spend it, is a lot to spend.
Could have gone into the team.
Yeah. So they could have sat back and waited, but then obviously Texters came along and there's the idea that maybe that forces Friedkin's hand to just go ahead with it and still pay that amount.
At first, Farhad used Textor as a bit of a stalking horse at the first round of talks. Because if you remember rightly, there was a few people bobbing about, and Textor was the first one who was really vocal about wanting it, but did say, by the time I can get it, it'll probably have gone.
Yeah.
But I'll be devastated because I want Everton Football Club, blah, 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 blah. And that sort of put the squeeze on the likes of Friedkin. And a couple of others got dropped for Friedkin by Farhad, didn't he?
But because they entered into the exclusivity, didn't
so they went into that thinking we want it, but obviously the ACAP stuff, they've gone. Someone's probably gone, you mightn't even have to pay that 200 million, you know. Are you prepared to give £100 million up for no reason? Good, like you just said, the billionaires for a reason, aren't they? Why pay 100 million to someone if you might not have to? And they obviously thought at that stage it was a little bit too expensive, maybe. Or they thought, no, we refuse to pay this. But we've already got 200 million in the game. So we can now step back for now, see how it's going along the track. And we can monitor everybody else who's talking to Farhad Moshiri about buying the football club. And quite possibly they've got to a situation where now they're thinking, this fella's actually buying it.
Yeah.
We're still here. Now it's up to Farhad now what he does. They blew their chance to just go ahead and buy it straight off
with
when
no
they stepped away because they'd won, basically. Now Textor hasn't got to that stage, but maybe he's just about to.
Yeah.
And he also said this last week, within a week he'll know he's buying his Palace shares. So maybe right now, within the next day or so, he knows he's selling his shares, and they're now at critical mass. It's either, no, actually, we want it. But if Farhad's now happy with Textor's deal, then he'll go with Textor, and Friedkin will miss out.
Yeah. I mean, Textor, he doesn't have the exclusivity, does he? But he's got the gentleman's agreement with Moshiri, hasn't he? That they've got this period to negotiate in, but it still legally allows Friedkin to play their hand as such, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And if they've got the money and deliver on it right now, then Farhad's got a judgment call. I need to go. Yeah. In fact, really though, Farhad's in a stronger position now, because if Friedkin really do want it, and it's my understanding they do want it, and they've always wanted it. which is why Textor was never in exclusivity, because you can't be. The club has to announce it. Is that they've not gone anywhere because they wanted it. Farhad knows they want it, but he's now got someone who's about to buy it as well. I mean, there'll be fors and against. Some people will want John Textor, some people will want the Friedkin group. I quite like the maverick nature of Textor, and he's a proper moaner, and he'll but he's also a disruptor, and I think our football club needs a disruptor. I think the Friedkin group are more corporate and are safer, as in, I think change will be evolution, not revolution, and I think Everton need revolution, really. That's what I think the football club needs. But that doesn't mean I think Textor will be better overall for Everton, because I honestly wouldn't have a clue who's better.
No, I mean, Friedkin obviously have the experience with Roma, don't he, whereas Textor's involved with Leon, but I don't think he's been in there for as long as Friedkin have with Roma.
No, they've been in for 3 years, I think, have they? Something like that. He's been in. No, he's got 4 clubs though, hasn't he?
Yeah, but he's got...
Have they got 2 clubs, Ped? They got Roma and the one in France as well.
Small club, isn't it?
Yeah, got a smaller one in France, haven't he? It'll come back to me in a minute. I mean, Ped, for you, I think I know the answer, but I'll ask you it anyway. If you just had to make a call over which one you wanted to buy it, who are you going with?
Not John Textor.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
John Textor.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
I don't think he's... I don't think he's quite right for us.
I don't think Friedkin are personally.
No, I think
there's just
exactly
corporate. No,
I think it's exactly what we need.
Yeah,
he's a fella with a lot of money and no baggage. I think Textor's just too much baggage.
Okay, fair play.
And I think there's too much noise.
Yeah, fair play.
I just think there's just too much of that. Just
fair enough.
And he flies round, going from one team to the other. He hasn't got.
But I think Friedkin would do that though.
I don't. I think he
does it already with Roma.
I think he can't get a stadium.
And don't forget, his son's gonna run it, not him anyway.
I think he can't get a stadium off the ground. I think he'd just park Roma. I think he'd sell them on. I think Premier League. The Premier League. It's all about being in the Premier League or being in the Champions League. And Champions League clubs now, I'd imagine the top end ones will be worth
crazy money,
a lot of money,
extortionate.
Yeah,
I know Roma are in the Champions League like every other year, let's say, but they're not one of those sort of.
I don't think they have been for a few
No, I know,
years
but you
either.
know what I mean.
Yeah.
More than us, mate.
Yeah.
What I mean is they don't attract that Champions. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like a Liverpool who went in it last year still attract that Champions League consistent sponsorship money every year, sell out. Sponsorship deals, kit deals.
It can disappear though, because Liverpool were worried last year that if they missed again,
it can disappear. But I just think for a club, but for Roma, it hasn't appeared.
No,
they're outside the establishment almost.
They are. They're not like. I think people believe Roma because it is Rome. They're not like one of the old traditional teams in Italy. They're not seen as like one of the big teams as such. They've only won the league a couple of times.
Milan clubs and Juve.
Well, Milan and Juve.
Yeah.
Milan clubs and Juve are the big clubs, aren't they?
But then the likes of Napoli and Lazio and Roma all operate within a similar space.
I think Roma are slightly higher than those two clubs. I think
but
Napoli,
they've had Champions League more often.
No, I know, but they tend to piss it away. That's the thing. I think every time these clubs get a chance, they make a mess of it. Whereas those other clubs have like a hierarchy that just sits there for years and years, and you build like Arsenal. You just build and build and build, and you're a household name because you're always in the Champions League. I'm much more in with Friedkin than I am with Tex. I just think he's. It's the means to an end for him as well. It's like getting that English club, and then that's like the. That's not.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
That's not.
Like I've just said, I genuinely have got no clue. I think Textor will shake Everton up quicker than what I think Friedkin will. But that doesn't mean I think Textor will be better overall for Everton.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, we had a conversation yesterday, didn't we? And we said, realistically, this football club shouldn't be this difficult to run, and it shouldn't take that much to turn Everton round as a football club.
Anyone with a plan, Jack.
A sensible businessman with the money to back it up, or the means of making the money. at least because they've got that sensible business plan. Where Texter obviously has a bit of maverick about him, like you say, and he would want to come in and he would want to shake things up. And
isn't that what Mashiri did?
Yeah,
see, I don't think he did. Because I think my differences, I think, with Mashiri, I think there is. Don't get me wrong, right? There probably is similarities, but whereas Mashiri just let Bill and Little Miss Dynamite get on with their thing, I think Texter would come in and cut a whole lot of people.
I think anyone will do that. I think anyone and everyone will do that. I just think there's no room for the club runs at such a loss. There's no room to just leave it as it is. The fat has to be cut off this, and systems have to be put in place to run this place properly.
See, I'm just a bit. I was all for Freaking, like proper for it. Going is right, corporate, really good, blah blah blah. But it does. I don't like the way they've played this. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like the fact that you've just gone, no, we'll just sit and look what we can get out of it. And I know that's what businessmen do, of course. I just don't, makes me uncomfortable. And a couple of people I spoke to, one who's very well informed on this, told me that they didn't even have a plan last time they were here, really, of what they wanted to do. I don't like that. Now, they might have a great plan this time and know exactly where they're working. That's great. But just the way they stepped away, I want someone to want Everton. And I do like that text. They're saying things like, you know, this club should be challenging for something. Now, Freakin could take it over and go, right, we want to make this. Of course, he's not going to want to take it over and it does crap. And he could be absolutely perfect for Everton. But I've still got a little bit of a cob on that he stepped away last time. That doesn't mean he wouldn't be brilliant for Everton.
I get what you mean, because looking at it from their perspective, which they would have been doing, obviously, I respect the business that was done, because like you say, if it's a lot of money to lose if you don't need to, but it left us in a bit of a sore spot, didn't it, as a club?
Stopped our summer business that we had.
There was more loans being taken on, and
but he also put 200 odd million quid into the club.
So did someone else.
No, but he did.
So did someone else.
Yeah. He did do that, though.
That's
and I'm not having a go, but it did leave us in. We didn't know where we were, because we thought that was going to be the deal, didn't we? Once we entered into the,
I just think if we hadn't,
and we had the Roma friend.
I just don't think anything would have happened anyway with any of them because of this leading hall thing. I just don't think any of them would. The idea that
it's still going on now, so why is it happening now? Because it's nothing. That's why.
I don't think it is nothing. I think it is nothing. I think it's a massive grey area that nobody can predict. And if you can save yourself £200 million, they are, we'll put it this way, the Freakins are 3 months closer to saving £200 million than they were in the summer. You know, John Texter's talking. John Texter's talking in terms of like Novembers and Decembers and Januaries. That all of them are not in a rush to get this deal over the line, because they know the closer they can get to that court case and somebody going, oh no, you don't have to pay anything. No one's rushing this deal through, are they?
That's what I started.
John Texter's,
you don't have to pay it, you won't, will
John Texter's sitting there going, I'll get this deal done because I'm the only one, and I'll pull this person, I'll pull that person. He's looking at the transfer market going, if I can be in for the last week of the transfer market, then I can make a bit of a splash, a la Newcastle did when they got the money. And I think probably they're the same. It's a ticking. Problem with Everton is it's a ticking time bomb because of what's going on the pitch. Yeah, they would have all looked at it and gone, that's in the summer, and gone, we can wait till next summer because this will be all right. Everton losing the first 4 games has thrown a massive spanner in the works for these people, because you can't factor in. I suppose in business, the only way you can factor something in like this is if the company you're looking at as like a terrible first quarter or something, you know, and it's like
need to do something,
and we need to do something, because actually if we don't do something, it's going to go bankrupt, and anything good, we're going to lose like brilliant employees or I don't know, whatever it is,
just example,
whatever it is, you know what I mean? So it's like that's the mad thing with sport, is the sport gets in the way of the business. It's like if it was just like a normal I mean, because it's not the business. The business has lost money hand over fist for the last 4 or 5 years, and no one sits there and goes, we better, we're cheering. That's the mad thing about sport. So I hope it's a bit more in many ways. I hope not a bit more as such. I don't want it to get like ugly and be, you know, you want it to be.
You want the right people.
You want exactly
to take it with the best resources,
exactly, yeah,
and the best plan. That's all I want. I don't know who it. I'm just saying, I know that John Textor will disrupt and will change things at Everton. I hope Freakin, if they get it, do the same. And they probably looking at it, they're probably a safer bet to do that. But I still look and go,
no,
I'm still got a little bit of a cob on with them.
Yeah, I just think there's a difference between revolutionising something and thinking you're revolutionising it. Because I think Mashiri would have thought, like Ped says, he probably thought he was, you know,
but he left everyone in place.
No, but he was like, oh, I've changed the CEO, even though it's bringing someone in from within doing the same job, and I've brought a big name manager in, and I want to sign Gareth Bale and all this, and I'm going to be ambitious, and we're going to build a new stadium. You'd think in his head he was changing the game. He wasn't, but I think in his head he was. And I don't think John Textor would do anything like that, for example, but a sensible, you saying with the Friedkins, they're just more sensible businessmen. I think a sensible businessman changes everything at this club anyway, because you've got
anyone with a plan. I actually think Ned with a plan would make the club.
I think the other reason for the Friedkins is just in my opinion, is I think it's what they bring to the table as well. I think it's the other businesses they own and the connections they have can well be part of the naming rights for the stadium, Toyota and all that, you know, Gulf Toyota and the hotels and that kind of thing. I think it's my worry with Textor as such is that it's stretching yourself too thin and how it leaves the other clubs exposed. Like Johnson, he seems like a fella who's just like knows what he wants. But it's what he's prepared to give up for what he wants. And I don't think he's prepared to give up much for what he wants. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't think he's prepared to give up Leon. I don't think Botafogo was like, I think that's what he loves. He loves that madness of Botafogo. Yeah. He loves the craziness of Brazilian football. I just don't think he's prepared. And that's fine. Like, that's not going to have a go at him for him. I think that's just part of what makes him what he is. What we've seen so far is he is a maverick. He doesn't care. You know, we were strung along for months by 777 telling us they couldn't speak to anyone. It's all league. This fella doesn't care. No. He does it in the right way. He spoke to Myers or he's done a press conference. I just don't think he's willing to give, because I think in his head he is a disruptor. He wants to destroy the fundamentals of what's making football at the moment. He wants to upset the apple cart. He wants to destroy.
He doesn't like the unfairness of it.
He doesn't like the unfairness of it. But I don't think he's willing to give up anything. I think he wants to take Leon where he wants to take them. He wants to take Botafogo, and he'd won in Everton, and that's brilliant. That's the kind of that's what you want. I just don't know if that's the kind of craziness we need.
Yeah, no, you might.
Do you know what I mean? It's like
I haven't got a clue. I just want a resolution.
It's not like I think there's a lot written about him, a lot said about him. Who can hand on heart say what's true and what isn't true? Yeah. You know.
No, but he's easy for the media to put in a box, isn't he? Because he's rogue, isn't he?
You know, because he talks a lot. When people talk a lot, it makes them easier for someone to go, this fella is this or this fella is that. The Freakins are very quiet and get on with their business very quietly. So it's a lot easier to just go, I'm not sure about this because they don't really speak or that's not part of their identity. They do seem absolute opposites. Absolute opposites in their manners, in the way they do things. So I still want Mark Cuban. Yeah. And the talk is he wants to buy Twitter and Fox News just to things up. So I'm all day for him.
Fair play to him then. Fair play.
But then with Texter, we could have Jay-Z in the background.
I don't want Jay-Z, mate.
No,
I don't want Jay-Z.
We'll have Jay-Z and Queen
Bee walking out, and then Jay-Z's rapping them on the pitch.
Stadium will be the SpaceX Stadium.
Yeah.
Sponsored.
The
Muscarina.
P. Diddy's just gone down, mate. I'm just saying, these dominoes are all going to fall. And I don't want them to be falling around our club.
Those are some allegations.
Well, he's just gone down.
On an unrelated note.
That's actual factual news.
Right, Dan W says, interesting return of the Freakin group. I think I'd prefer Texter due to his publicly stated ambition for us. But as long as whoever comes in brings a large sweeping broom and brings their own people in, we should be better. Yeah. Steve P says, I had a weird nightmare on Saturday night. We were rock bottom of the league at Christmas with 1 point. And I was at a random gaff in someone's kitchen and Moyes was there. So I was asking him to come back and he just kept saying no chance. I was literally begging him and he wouldn't do it. I woke up sweating.
That's brilliant.
Imagine Moyes just in a random gaff.
Kitchen.
Just there like
That's
that.
David Moyes.
Yeah.
He's got like one of them red plastic cups in his hands and he's like, He's
doing his dancing.
Won the Conference League, you know.
And Steve P's like, listen, I've seen this left back in Austria, you know, he'd be a belter for you, Moyes, if you come back. And Moyes just
I don't want to wear it. Come on, it's Saturday night.
Not here.
No,
not here for that.
No.
Belter.
Oh, come on. That's brilliant.
Ben says, Patterson not fit, ? I don't know, mate. I think he's only just started training again.
Yeah.
Would he risk him? I'm not sure, Ben.
It was just before the Villa game. He was pictured back in training wearing it. I think maybe we'll see him at the weekend.
Yeah, it could be a bit too soon. He might. I mean, Ben, you might be right. I don't know. He says, would rest Miko, put Young on the left. No, yeah. Dan says, a wild thought on tonight's game. How about starting Dixon right back and Van Shaw left back? He's under 21s and quick. I don't think they'd ever throw Van Shaw in, mate. Not yet. He says also, Dan says it would be classic Dyche to consider dropping Pickford before dropping Keane.
I know, yeah. I mean, that's mad, isn't it? I doubt there's anything in it anyway, but it just shows, it just adds to the madness of it, doesn't it? There's still no comments about, if Michael Keane's performances don't improve, but there is about Pickford's.
Mark says Beto has to play, need on fit for Saturday. Dixon has to play, and also the ball has to stay on the floor tonight. Knock the hit and hope on the head. Derek says he should use this to experiment with a new formation, either a 3-5-2 or a 4-3-3, but either way, put an extra body in midfield. Mark says, do we go for a 1-0 lead instead of a 2-0 lead?
I think we go for the 3-0 lead.
4-0, I say.
Yeah, and we don't think about conceding for once. Actually, we've got this idea, right? And it's I've been floating it.
Score 4 goals, don't concede.
Yeah,
see what that's like.
Don't concede. You know, like he says, yeah. I mean, the manager used to say it himself when he did speak about his tactics, and that he'd go, keep it out that end, put it in the other. Let's try that.
On the grass.
Yeah.
Blue Keeley says, I think Dyche is too stubborn to change Keane because the fans are calling for it. Andy says, Baz, when Michalenko went down, Dixon went to warm up. They then turned to Garner, who wasn't ready. Same thing happened in the League Cup. Coleman got injured. Dixon was warming up and Dyche turned to Young. Yeah, saw that in the League Cup. He looked like Dixon was coming on, and then the next minute Ashley Young was on.
Yeah, and then he brought Dixon on
then
2
Dixon
minutes later.
Because the crowd were fuming. Dixon coming on the right wing, and no one seemed to know where they were playing, which is a bit 5 minutes, mate. Where are we? Chaz says, I think we can all agree Dyche will do something very predictable or utterly bananas. I cannot wait. Harry says, seeing the ticket availability for tonight says a lot about the current situation. Could well be our last League Cup game at Goodison. Been a couple of weeks since our last home game, and people can't be bothered to watch it.
It says a lot about the pricing as well, doesn't it?
The pricing was all wrong as well. Absolutely disgraceful. Blue Keeley says either owner will put us in a better position than now. Currently got an absent owner and an absent board. Correct. James says, can't see it being a bidding war now to buy the club. Mashiri ain't getting more than 50 mil. He'll probably go along with both bids because he's desperate to get this club off his hands and has already been burnt with MSP, 777 and Freakin. More horses coming in the race, the better of him coming out with a winner. Benji says, I'd rather have Texter over Freakin because some of the comments he's made about his ambition for the club, but for all I know, Freakin could be a lot better than Texter, or they could both be crap. Exactly, Benji. I have no clue, mate. David says, if some have said Texter wants to leverage off the back of the stadium, that's not on. Sorry. Texter, funded or fuck off. I think all of them will want to do some of that, mate. There's no, MSP wanted to do that, and Andy Bell and George Downham wanted to do that, I think. I think a lot of businessmen would want to do that. Benjamin says, funnily enough, Ped's right about Jay-Z. There's a massive cloud hanging over him. Benjamin and Ped They have their own opinion, nothing to do with Toffee TV. I have no clue, and nor am I going to take it on, because Benjamin was batting for you. That's why. According to Pet. Okay, James, ask me which two. Hi, Baz, Ped and Jack. Out of these two men, which will be a better fit for the club? Does it maybe mean Freakin and Texter? We've just gone through that, haven't we? I genuinely don't know, mate. I like John Texter's ambition for Everton, and I like that he is a disruptor, but I don't know. I couldn't say who would be better, but I think me and Jack, I think and Ped all agree, someone with a plan would be miles better than what we've got now, and it'd be easy to take the club forward. Chicken Lip says score 4, then swap Dom for Keane at the back.
Keane up front, yeah.
Sophie says feel like Dyche is throwing 2 fingers up to us by consistently picking Keane.
See, I don't mind them playing tonight if O'Brien comes in, and then we've got Tarky and Branthwaite at the weekend. Because you rotate and then, and you're giving Tarkowski the rest he might need. But it's playing him through the league games when he doesn't have to play him, which I just can't agree with.
Alex says, put it this way, if Texter was in charge when we got the points deductions, we wouldn't have laid down on our back. He'd be outspoken, but haven't we been crying out for that for years? Yeah, listen, like I said, I keep saying it, and I don't think anyone can say which one would be better, because you just don't know. You just hope whoever gets it is better than what we've got, and it doesn't seem like that would be difficult. Eugene, Everton 4, Southampton 0, Beto, McNeil, O'Brien and Dom, the goal scorers. Nathan says he'd love to see Njai on the left, Lindstrom on the right. See if that's the best option for attacking. Alex wants some go 4-4-2, Dom and Beto up top, Dixon right back, Mangala and Ghana in the middle. Damien says, I've just read the board have done a U-turn on Sak and Dyche, apparently as till the Palace game, and if nothing happens then it's bye-bye Dyche and hello Moyes. Who knows? Corin, who's one of our YouTube members, says Keane and Young, I hope they don't play tonight, please God.
Be ready for them to play is all I'd say.
I think, listen, it might be a case of injuries dictate who plays tonight. So it is what it is, isn't it? You might need to rest James Tarkowski, and therefore we haven't got another centre-back. So it'll be O'Brien and Keane. Branthwaite, I'd be surprised if he gives Branthwaite a go, given he's only just come back from his game. There's a Premier League
the weekend's
game.
The big one,
he's got to be looking at them. Same with Patterson. Right back, yeah, I'd play Dixon, give Dixon a go at home. Left back, Michalenko might be out, so therefore he might have to play Young. So who knows? We'll see, won't we? We will see later. But yeah, let's wait and see. Right, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. If you haven't, we'll be on More Than a Game in about 15 minutes because there's a fire alarm test. So 2:05, More Than a Game live. See you all later.